Good there. Okay. We are live.
Indeed, we are.
It's like our second brand new movie consecutively.
Yeah.
We did Wonder Woman 84, and now we're doing Soul. Do you have soul?
I do.
So you don't need to go find your soul.
No, my soul is within me.
Your soul is within you. Are you a
Yeah.
jazz fan?
I do like jazz.
I do too. I'm a big jazz fan. I got a lot of jazz CDs.
Do you?
I do. Yes, I do. Well, why don't we get this show on the road?
Let's do it.
Light this candle. Yeah, I'm very excited to start. Another great Pixar film.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a movie that was supposed to come out in theaters.
Yep.
And it didn't. Went straight to Disney Plus. We're going to drink wine and we're going to talk about it.
Yes, we are.
And I'm very excited. So, oh, wait, didn't mean to do that again. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, and more importantly, your sommelier of cinema, Robert Meyer Burnett. But that's not why you're here. You're here to see this lovely creature. Who are you?
Elysabeth Gwendolyn Belle. I am the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence,
And the enchantress of entertainment. Well, and this is WINEning About Movies, episode number 107. As we approach the end of this year, this is our last show of the year.
Really?
The show
Wow.
was born out of the pandemic, and it has thrived during the pandemic. I can't believe that we've done 107 episodes of this show. I mean, if you think about it, there's only 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, 30% of this year has been filled up with
Yeah. That's
WINEing About
amazing.
Movies. Pretty amazing. So it's something to do. It's been fun to do this with you.
It has been.
And we wanted to tell everybody we had a problem with our review of Tenet. It actually somehow was inverted and wound up in the future. So we figured out the problem, and we're going to review Tenet as our next film,
We are.
which is going to be on New Year's Day on January 1st. So join us. Black Phillip Alvarez will be happy because him and Omar94 have written us both letters about Tenet.
Oh, well, there you go.
That also we were able to somehow get back from the future, but they were inverted into the past. I don't know. I couldn't really hear what anybody was saying, so I didn't really get it.
Right.
So maybe, of
But
course,
now we figured it out.
We figured it out. So join us for Tenet on Friday the 1st, bringing in the new year with the past, present, and future colliding, I guess. So that's exciting. So Elizabeth, to get this show on the road, we've got Roulé Rouge,
Yes.
an organic red wine blend. Is this also from Thrive Market?
No, this is from Whole Foods.
Whole Foods. So, an Amazon company.
Yes, yes.
So why don't you give me your glass and get Bezos? I don't know what that is. I just made it up.
Whatever it is.
To be Bezos.
That's what's happening right now.
Let's get Bezos. We can maybe sing a song like Olivia Newton-John did. Let's get... Well, that doesn't really work. That's a different show.
You already named the show.
Yeah, that's
after
what I was
that.
going to say. Let me set this down. And let's see about the bouquet of this red... it smells delightful. Nice red blend. This is delightful.
Ooh,
Very interesting wine.
it's tangy.
It is tangy. It's got soul.
It's got soul.
This has soul. So, first of all, I gotta ask you, how are you? I mean, you grew up Adventist.
Yes.
How are you with depictions? We talked about It's a Wonderful Life, angels, depictions of the afterlife, or in this case, the afterlife and the before life.
Yeah.
I mean, this film has a very interesting depiction of cosmology, universal cosmology.
It does. And this is not the first time that Disney and Pixar have gone there.
No.
With Coco, the whole thing was like seeing the grandmother in the afterlife.
Yeah, singer. I mean, and the Day of the Dead. You know, all the imagery in Coco.
Right.
I really, as you know, I mean, I enjoy anything to do with the afterlife or the before life.
Yeah.
Like in this movie, what's it called? The before. It's
The before.
what's it called? The name of it. When you're not born yet.
the pre-birth.
Hang on. Allow me to find out the actual
where
name.
the souls are made.
Yeah, the Great Beyond. Oh, it's the Great Before.
The Great Before.
You've got the Great Beyond and the Great Before. So I love this idea of the Great Before.
The Great Before.
So in this movie, Jamie Foxx, in a great portrayal. I love his voiceover.
Absolutely.
I love his voice acting. It's great. He plays Joe Gardner, who is a middle school teacher. And this movie starts out with a rendition of the Disney theme played badly by middle school music
band.
Students.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just...
It was great.
And also, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, and Atticus Ross do the score.
Do they really?
They do the score for this movie, and just like they did for Social Network and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Watchmen, the Watchmen TV series, which I thought was a pretty interesting choice for Pixar. I don't know if they've done Pixar scores before.
I don't know.
But I loved the score for this
was
movie.
Great.
I love the score for this movie. Pete Docter comes back to direct, and obviously one of the big guns at Pixar. And I thought, first of all, this movie is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It is, which is not unexpected for Pixar. But my God, you know, what's interesting is when Pixar depicts the real world, like whether it's they kind of go for that Incredibles look, but this was
set in New York.
In New York City.
You really felt like you were in New York.
You really did.
Even though it was animated.
I loved it. I mean, I felt like it wasn't like stylized like a Hirschfeld drawing, but it had this great...
The characters were very stylized, but it really felt like they were in...
I just loved that.
Yeah.
I loved it so much, and the feel of it. I mean, obviously, the Pixar animation is tremendous, but you know, this could have been hand animated as well. It didn't, you know, even though it was CG, I could see this as it could have been a completely 2D film. The animation style, there was something about it, dare I say, jazzy.
Yeah.
There was something very jazzy about the whole...
the light was very golden and very beautiful.
And also the stylization of the Great Before and the denizens that, like the overlords of the Great Before, like the double-drawn, two-dimensional...
Yes. The Picasso...
the Picasso...
Three-dimensional Picasso drawings.
The Picasso people.
The Picasso people.
the God's agents in the Great Before.
All the Jerrys and the Terrys.
All the Jerrys and the Terrys. I mean, it was I thought a really compelling, interesting movie that was great. But it starts out, you've got our main character, Joe Gardner. He is a frustrated jazz musician.
Yeah.
And he's great. He's a great jazz musician,
really
but
good.
He's kind of in a rut because he's teaching.
He's having a hard time getting some substantial gigs so that he can really go for it with his music.
And his mother is sort of always frowned on these musical aspirations because they don't lead anywhere.
Well, because she wants him to have security. So she wants him to have a full-time job where
he's not a full-time teacher yet.
Right. Full-time job with benefits.
With benefits.
I mean, every mother wants that for their child.
And that's true. And in the movie, a former student of his calls him up. And well, first of all, he has a really talented student who plays the trombone in his class, and she's amazing.
She is. She's really good.
And I think if you ever talk to a teacher, they always have identified. There's always one student
that's very exciting. I've taught kids before, and it's very exciting when you see true talent. You just want to foster that. You want them to keep going because it's just a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So yeah, he's very proud of this student, and he gives this whole speech in class because the other kids laugh because she stands up. She's so into it, she gets into the zone, and then the other kids laugh at her, and then he explains like what it's like to be in the zone, and he explains the story of how he got inspired to be a jazz player.
Yes, and it's great. I mean, and anybody we're both creative people.
Yeah.
And obviously, an undercurrent of this movie is about creativity and following your bliss and finding your spark. And one of his former students calls him up and says, "Hey, you know, why don't you come down and play with us?"
But before that happens, he is given a full-time position at the school, and he's kind of torn about it because that means he won't be able to pursue his jazz playing as much. Although I think being a teacher is probably the best job to have while you're doing other things.
I think so too.
But I mean, they don't go into that in this film.
Well, I did feel that there were certain things about his situation from the movie's perspective that were a little muddled. Mm-hmm. In terms of like they didn't like he was frustrated, but nothing was stopping him from playing gigs every night.
Right, because school is from 8 in the
Yeah.
morning till 3 in the afternoon.
Right, and I know.
And you're a band teacher, so you're not grading homework.
Yeah.
So at 3 o'clock, like, he's free all evening. Like, he could pursue gigs and still be a full-time teacher.
Right.
And you got the weekends off, and plus you've got 3 months off, 2 months off in the summer. Mm-hmm. So it's like the perfect job if you are a creative person.
So I kind of was like, why not take that job?
I know, I was like, that's perfect.
There were certain things in the movie that as much as I did like this film, like this I don't think worked entirely from the standpoint of, like, nothing was preventing him.
Nothing was preventing
Like, I
him.
didn't see, that's the thing, I didn't see him being a teacher was preventing him from being a jazz musician.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see the conflict, but...
And, like, he gets a call from his former student
Yes.
to come play with this woman in her jazz band.
Yeah, she's like some great jazz
sax player, jazz sax player.
Well known, and so he's super excited about it.
Let me get the name correct. Let's see if Dorothea Williams is her name. And by the way, again,
played by what's her name? It was just on the tip of my tongue. Felicia Rashad.
Oh yeah. Oh right. I was drawing a blank on that. Going what? No, Felicia Rashad was Joe's mom.
Oh, that's right. Who played the jazz?
Why am I?
It was another big actress.
Oh, it's Angela Bassett.
Yes.
Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank? First of all, I was going to say that character design of Dorothea Williams, I loved her.
She was great.
I mean, the design was so great, and when you see her, like, you think, like, at first, like, I didn't know if she was, the fact that she was a sax player, that the character was a sax player, I love that.
Her attitude was great. It reminded me, because we just watched what is it? Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Which another movie we should probably review.
But the character
that was Viola Davis.
Yeah, but that character reminded me of this character.
Yeah, with a little less. Dorothea's a little less coarse than Ma Rainey. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I love movies. One of my favorite movies that is not on Blu-ray, come on, Warner Archive, what's up, is Round Midnight. Bertrand Chavigner's Round Midnight that stars Dexter Gordon. It's a great... You'd like it. It's set in Paris. It's a great movie about jazz.
I would love that.
And I loved all this. So Jamie Foxx, Joe, is going to go... He gets the opportunity. They sort of give him an audition.
They do. They give him an audition. At first, she's like, ugh, a middle school teacher.
Yeah.
Why did you bring me a middle school teacher? But he starts playing and he gets into the zone.
And what I loved about it was, like, in another movie, like, he wouldn't have got the gig or something. But the fact that he's shown as being, he's great.
He's really, really good.
He's really, really good.
And he could play in Seb's bar.
He could play in Seb's bar, in Seb's. Nice reference to another movie that we've reviewed on this show. And I like the fact that she's like, come on back. She immediately recognizes his talent.
She's like, where have you been?
Yeah, welcome to the band.
Put on a nice suit and come back tonight. Yeah, that was a cool moment.
And, you know, it's great. And then, of course...
And this part shocked me. So he's walking back to he's so excited. He's walking back to his apartment. He's not paying attention. And he falls in a manhole.
And you were...
I was like, what the... And then you see him on this as a blue glowy
as
person.
a soul.
And I'm like, wait a second. Did they just kill that character? Did he just die?
He died,
I was shocked.
He died. Well, we find out later he wasn't dead yet. He was in a coma.
Right.
His body was in a coma.
He was on his way to heaven.
He was and I love the fact that there's the heavenly conveyor belt that's going into a 2001-esque sort of explosion of.
And as the souls hit the big round glowy ball, it sounds like a zapping fly sound.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm not sure I want to go there.
No, and then it starts to get really kind of wacky.
Really wacky.
And he tries to escape, but then he's
well,
in this.
he knows that he does not. I mean,
He
he's
doesn't
about to like have the experience of his life. He's about to play with a very famous jazz player, and she's impressed by him. So he does not want to be dead.
He doesn't want to be dead, and he impersonates a counselor to counsel these souls.
Well, before that, he's like trying to get away, and ends up falling off of the little conveyor belt.
The conveyor belt to the great beyond.
Yeah, and he falls through and ends up lands in this grass, and there's these cute little blue blobs that are like playing like children's sounds. And there's a nanny there, and you learn that is where
they're in the great
that's
before.
the great before.
Yeah, where the souls are.
Where souls are created before they are sent away to Earth to be embodied.
And they're prepped.
They're
These
prepped.
souls are given, and then Joe decides to sort of impersonate a counselor, a soul, and he gets assigned 22.
Yeah, he gets assigned 22, who, previous to that, like the number is like really, really high. It's like thousands and thousands. And so when they assign him, well, he steals another name tag because he's not supposed to be there.
No, he's not.
So he ends up being Docter so-and-so, and is paired with a soul that's number 22. And number 22 has been there for thousands of years. I mean, everyone hates her. Nobody can get her to find her spark.
She's very obstinate.
She does not want to leave the Great Beginning. The Great Beginning? Is that what it's called? The Great Beginning?
It's the Great Before.
The Great Before, sorry.
Great Beginning,
The
Great
Great
Before.
whatever.
It's all the same. It's just the before time, before the Empire, before the Dark Times.
Yeah.
It's the Great Before.
The Great Before. And so she's very difficult. But he is paired with her, and he's supposed to help her find her spark.
Help her find her spark.
Yeah.
And then Joe finds out that he's in a coma, or like he's gonna go.
Well, that's not yet. Then they end up. She can't find her spark. He doesn't know how to help her, and then she shows him how she's been like just hanging out there. And there's like this box that she goes through into the zone, and she brings him there. And the zone is all the souls. When you're in the zone, when you're creative,
right,
and you feel like you're in the zone, and it's an actual place. But you can also be a lost soul, which I thought this was brilliant, the way they created this, because it makes a lot of sense. So you can be in the zone, but if you're in the zone too much, you can end up being a lost soul because
right,
you're so stuck in that place. So there are people who are lost souls too. And
it's interesting that they equate lost souls with creativity.
Yeah, it's like two sides of a coin.
Right. And there are people, the idea of you get lost in your own creativity, sometimes it consumes you, and
it's like how love and hate are so closely related.
Again, the very interesting view of the afterlife or the before life, whatever. I mean, the cosmology of this movie is very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. And then we meet Mr. What's his name? Mr. Wonder.
Oh yeah, Moon Dreamer or Moon.
Yeah, Mr.
Moon Dreamer, or Moon something.
No,
Moonshine.
I keep having to put on my glasses again because I can't see.
Moon something. Moonbeam.
Moon Wind.
Moon Wind.
A spiritual
Moon Wind.
sign twirler.
Yeah. So so the meditators, and they come sailing on this pink ship. And so it's actual beings, human beings that are meditating, and so their souls end up in the zone. And they love to be in the zone to capture the lost souls and help the lost souls get back into their life.
And what did you think about that?
That was pretty
again, they're
brilliant,
just
too.
adding to this really interesting sort of the fabric of the universe and creation. I mean, it's all very positive.
It is.
You know, even if you're a lost soul, hey, the meditators are going to come find you and help you out.
Yeah. I mean, you know, meditation does bring you to a different, it's supposed to bring you to a different spiritual level. And so, I mean, it all makes sense that it would be one place. I like how they just mashed it all together when you're in the zone and you're a lost soul, and when you're meditating, you end up in that space.
It's true. Well, and then our characters have to get back to Earth.
They do. They do. And so, how do they end up seeing the guy, the moonbeam guy, Moonwind?
Moonwind.
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 They asked for his help because they showed him how a lost soul, how they open up a little window in the zone area and send the soul back. And so they show him that he's in the hospital bed, or they tell him to concentrate. So he's concentrating with his eyes closed, and finally they see him in the hospital bed. And there's a therapy cat there. And he's excited to get back into his body. But they jump too soon. So him and number 22 jump too soon, and they end up
Switched.
So 22 is in his body, and
Joe is in the body of the therapy cat.
He's the body of the therapy cat.
And 22 is in his body.
That's right.
And 22 has never been in a human body before. So
Right.
I think number 22.
She's never wanted to.
She's never wanted to, and so
she's freaked out.
And Joe wants to make sure that he does not lose this opportunity to play. He's got to get back for the gig tonight, which is, and he's got to go get put a suit on, and he has to make it there, and at the same time,
they want to find Moonwind because they want help switching back.
Right.
So, their goal is to, first of all, get out of the hospital without anyone seeing them.
And it's pretty funny.
It is pretty funny.
I mean, there's a lot of hijinks.
Yeah.
As 22 is trying to learn to use his body.
Yeah.
But she's getting the hang of it.
She gets the hang of it. And they first head to find Moonwind. Yeah.
And on the way, do they find Moonwind first, or on the way that they actually run into Dorothea and his student?
That's right, because he's hailing a cab.
But he's still wearing his hospital gown.
He is. He's in his
So
hospital
he's out on
gown.
the streets of New York in a hospital
Plus,
gown.
he's now eating some pizza, and like there's stains all over the hospital gown. I mean, he looks a mess.
And the therapy cat's there, and they run into Dorothea and his former student.
Right.
And they're all like...
And they're shocked.
They're shocked because he looks like he's like some crazy homeless person that escaped from Bellevue.
Crazy dude. And so they escape from that by jumping into the cab. And they leave and they go to find
Moonwind.
And he's a sign twirler.
He's a sign twirler, and you see him sign twirling.
Yeah. And they find him.
And
he's like, I can help you. I can't help you right now. Time has to be right because the layer of the zone has to be thin enough. There has to be a thin spot.
So,
and that'll be at 6:30, and the guy's gig is at 7.
Yes. So then they have to go back to Joe's apartment.
Yeah, for him to put on
He's got to put on a suit.
Take a shower, put on a suit.
And look good. And of course, and the cat is looking at himself. Joe's looking at his own body and realizing, I got to clean up your hair.
Yeah.
As they're getting ready.
Yes, he wants to, what's the word?
Impress.
Yeah, anyway.
He has to look
He's
good.
trying to fix his hair by, damn it, why did I forget the term?
Clippers.
Yeah, but you clean up the edges.
Yes.
There's a term for that.
Well, and as a cat, Joe is not very adept with the clippers, and they slip out of his hand, and he gives himself right down the middle.
But before that happens, his student comes over.
That's right.
And she wants to quit. And
I have to say, I didn't necessarily buy this part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because when we've seen her and she's in the zone, she clearly loves what she's doing.
Yeah, but I totally get it. I mean, having kids, yes, it's for attention. They know they're good at it, but they want to hear the adults say that they're good at it. So they threaten to quit.
See, that's
I'm no good. I'm gonna quit. And so it's just they want reassurance.
See, I would not. You have more insight than I do.
Yeah.
See, this to me was, now that I'm hearing you explain it, I'm like, absolutely.
And Joe knew this, and so he was kind of ignoring the girl being there as the cat. He was like, don't worry about it. She'll be fine. But 22 is worried. She follows her out, and they have this great moment where 22 learns that, that talent is real, and that people do have certain things that they are good at. So it was a nice little moment. And then, of course, the girl, of course she's going to continue doing her, what was it, trombone?
Yeah, and I love the fact that this is sort of weird. Not really weird.
Line it up. Thank you.
I do love the fact, line it up, right, the hair. I do love
I do that all the time.
I do love the fact that the two women in this film are shown to be horn players.
Yeah,
Dorothea's a sax player, and
you got to have really strong.
I like that. I mean, I thought that was great, as opposed to being singers. I like the fact that you have this little girl playing the trombone as opposed to playing a violin or something. I thought that was a nice choice.
Yeah.
And to me, everybody talks about inclusion and things like that. It didn't feel forced, really.
Oh, no,
because
not
when you see the class that she's from, it's already a very diverse class of kids.
Yeah.
So the fact that I just thought it was neat that they made her a trombone player. I thought that was
that was cool.
Because a trombone, it doesn't necessarily. It's not. I think trombone playing is very cool. It's very hard.
It's hard.
When I was in junior high school, I was a trumpet player, but it's there could be visually. I just love you have this little girl playing the trombone.
Yeah.
I again, another choice they made in the film that I really
Will
liked.
the little girl really be strong enough to play the trombone?
Don't you?
You have to really
shut your mouth. Don't you say that a girl can't play the trombone.
No. I mean, a young person being that young.
Well, 12 years old or whatever.
I remember when.
I'm not going to say a girl's not strong enough to blow. Wasn't that what you're saying?
This is a PG.
What are you saying? I did something wrong? Did I make? I didn't.
I was about to tell you a story about Sophie, who was when she was 5. Zoe was already playing the violin, so I decided that Sophie should play the cello. And I did not realize that you have to have some strength to push against the big strings of the cello. And so it was very interesting. This little 5-year-old trying to play the cello.
I would like to have seen that.
It was adorable.
Well, then there's when they're trying to line the hair up.
Yeah, line it up.
Joe, in the guise of the therapy cat, slips.
Oh yeah, so they end up at the barber shop.
So they go to, and this was, I thought, a really interesting scene.
Yeah.
So they go into this barber shop. Everyone knows everyone else, but apparently no one really knows Joe. He goes in there.
Well, he only talks about himself, and this is a great thing. Like when he's outside of his body and he's just watching, he's learning a lot because this 22, she's new to humanity. Like she has never been in a body before, and she's never been around other humans. And so it's like a child. She's talking and asking questions and he's learning so much that he didn't even know about his barber.
Right. Because she's asking him questions. Finally, for the very first time, because you go to the barbershop, like I always say on this show, every person you meet has a story to tell.
Oh, yes.
All you have to do is listen.
I hear tons
Joe doesn't
of stories,
listen.
Tons of stories.
Yeah, and you know that for a fact. And I thought that was a really great scene. And you see, at one point, everyone's listening to the story.
Yeah.
Everyone's listening because they've never heard this before.
Well, 22 has been around for a long time, even though she has not been in a human body. Mm-hmm. So she's really good at just talking.
No, and it was a great scene, and you see the barber is I don't know who played the barber, but again the great character design.
Yeah,
the characters are just I would love to get action figures. I hope they do a lot. They always make Pixar toys. Everybody wants Toy Story stuff. I would love to get the pantheon of all of these characters because I love the character designs.
Yeah, the characters are
I thought
great.
they were all great. And like the whole everybody that was in that barbershop, like you could get, hey kids, buy the Soul barbershop set with all these figures. They'll never do that.
Right.
But if they did, I would totally buy that play set. And it would be great. And also, like, even like Joe's mom, who we meet, he gets his hair cut, he's got the suit on, and then when they're going there, he tears the
pants.
22 tears the pants. And what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So they decide they're going to have to go see Joe's
mother,
mom.
who is a seamstress.
She's a seamstress, and like Joe doesn't want to go to her.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to have to explain that he's doing another gig and that he's not going to take the teaching job, but he has to because he can't go with a split in his pants.
And so then he goes there.
Yeah.
And another funny scene, Joe sees these two women that work with his mom that has seen him grow up.
Right.
He kisses one of them on the lips.
Yeah,
and
he's supposed to kiss her on the cheek.
It's very funny.
But again, 22 nails the conversation with his mother.
Right. And this is Felicia Rashad playing his mom.
Because she doesn't know. Like, she's just saying what she thinks she needs to say to her.
Right.
And so Joe is pretty impressed.
Joe's impressed, and then the mother, like, they're having this great conversation.
Yeah,
and
he's able to explain, like, this is my dream. I know you want me to have security, but I'm driven to do this. Why can't you support that? Well, it was the fact that his father was a musician, and so it was insecure, and she had to make sure with her her shop, her dress shop, that she could support the family.
And she says, "Look, I was supporting your father.
Yeah.
I've done this."
And so she doesn't want that for her son. So they end up, understanding each other, why their motivations. And then she understands that this is who he is, and so he just wants her to be proud of him and support him. And so then she pulls out his father's suit.
A great suit. And the seamstresses come all in, all hands on deck, and they tailor this great blue suit for him. He's got his hair looking smart, and now his mother has literally dressed him in his father's clothing. And it's maybe this just, for whatever reason, as this movie went along, I was very emotional watching. These are my favorite kinds of stories, Field of Dreams, and when people, artists or creative people, realize what, and there's, even though there's like setbacks, this movie's not like that. This movie was kind of life affirming. It's great fantasy conceit where you're dealing with the after or the great before, the great beyond, the great before, but all of this was very life affirming. And I think at the end of 2020, it was sort of a perfect, movie to be watching. And then of course he does make it to his gig.
Well, they go there, and then 22, she's starting to experience the world, and she's not ready to just go back. She wants to really find her spark. And, she says, I'm really good at walking. Maybe that's my spark. And he's like, that's an everyday thing. So he kind of discourages her. And so that's when she decides that she doesn't want to leave Earth yet because she needs to find her spark.
Yep.
So she runs away.
In
Joe's body, and ends up being caught by the guy who counts the souls that are supposed to go to they don't even call it heaven. What do they call it?
The Great Beyond.
The Great Beyond. And he catches her in the subway.
The secular afterlife.
Right.
The Great Beyond.
The Great Beyond. And ends up sending both of them back to the Great
Before.
And then what happens?
Shenanigans. Shenanigans happen as we race toward our climax, but they do eventually. Joe does get to play.
Oh, they look down, and she's earned she got her spark, so she's earned her badge to go to Earth and be a person.
And Joe is going to go to the afterlife.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the great beyond.
But she decides that she doesn't want to go because she feels bad that she doesn't have her spark. She doesn't believe it. And he convinces her that she got that spark because she was in his body and she was experiencing his spark. So then she ends up giving him the pass to go back to Earth, and so he does, and then he plays his gig beautifully, and his mom's in the audience, and everybody is, it's wonderful, beautiful, and then as they're leaving, what's the saxophone player? Dorothea says to him, he's like, "What's next?" And she's like, "Well, we come back tomorrow and we do it all over again." And then it dawns on him like, oh, it's a little anticlimactic. He thought like he was supposed to feel something, and he realizes like, this is it. That's all it is.
Well, Dorothea tells a great story about a fish in the ocean.
Right.
The fish is like, I want to be in the ocean. When am I going to be in the ocean?
And the older fish says you
are
in the ocean. It's like, no, this is the water. Where's the ocean?
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that pretty much sums it up.
I mean, I thought that for all of my time in the entertainment business, that to me was a great metaphor, because everybody thinks, and for filmmakers, they think, okay, you write your screenplay and you have it printed out and you're feeling the weight in your hand, or you've actually made a film and you go to film festivals and you travel around and you think, I thought that, okay, your life is going to change.
Yeah.
Like somehow, because you think that somebody's going to get rich and famous and successful, and maybe in that way, I don't really know because I never had that kind of success. But for the most part, no, you think that something is going to change and that you're going to feel different.
Right.
And you really don't.
You don't
feel different unless you must enjoy the process. And the whole thing is that everybody thinks that, oh, I'm going to get to this place and light is going to shine down from heaven, and I'm going to, whatever it is that's supposed to happen, it's going to be, and you're going to be like a different person.
Right.
And when Dorothea tells that story, I'm like, that is exactly right. I mean, so many people I've talked to, they think that something's going to happen. They make a movie or something and they think their lives are going to change. Nope. You're the same person. Like, you're not going to change.
You're the same person.
It's the journey. You have to enjoy if you don't enjoy the process and you just want to get to the end, or to get this thing so you're going to get some light from the great beyond shining on you, it does not happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It never happens. And
Joe realizes that at that moment, and finds a way back. How does he get back?
Well, they're going to send him away, and he gets to go back.
Somehow he goes back. I don't remember how he gets back, but he gets back to the great beginning. The great before. The great before. He gets to the great before, and 22 is stuck in the zone, and she is a lost soul.
Right.
And he finds her, and he wants to give her her patch back so she can go to Earth and be a person. And she's a lost soul, and he tries to capture her, and he finally does, and she swallows him up. And while he's in there, like, he goes through this whole thing and ends up
one of the Picasso people come to him at the end and say,
well, I mean, he ends up giving her the patch and telling her that she did find her spark and that she should go experience the world. And she's like, well, what about you? And he's like, well, I'm fine. I got to do the thing I needed to do, and I'm okay now.
Now, I've heard, and I don't know, I've heard this movie had a different ending.
Yeah. I fully expected, because at one point when she's on Earth with him in his body, she finds a phone number for a girl in his pocket, and it's Lisa, and so she encourages him to contact Lisa, and he's like, no, I don't have time for that. So I thought at the end that he would end up with Lisa, and that 22 would become their daughter.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe, I don't know how they changed the ending.
Maybe they were intending to do that.
I mean, I did think as much as I like this movie, I didn't think it was as good as it could have been, because it kind of was the great beyond and the great before and number 22 and all this. I liked the messaging of it. I just think it was a little muddled. You know, I found it very uplifting. And at the end of the movie, though, when he comes out, the final shot is like him coming out of his door, and I found that very moving. Where he's back in his body and his life is in front of him, and he gets his spark back and all that.
Oh yeah, that's true. At the end, one of the Picasso people, Jerry, says, "We're so impressed that you were able to help 22 that we want to give you a second chance."
Yeah, we're gonna say,
and so,
which I felt that was kind of like. I'm like,
I think it would have been a stronger ending if he had just gone to heaven, or like I said, he had met up with Lisa, they got together, and 22 became their daughter.
Yeah, but I also think that you know, the whole lesson to me of this movie is really enjoy what you have. You know, you live in the moment. You've got to take those chances. You don't.
Yeah.
So many people just be like, oh, I'm not gonna. And the one thing that I've learned in life, like when I was a kid, I used to I didn't want to, I got to stay home. I'm not going to go out because I want to see this movie, or I want to copy this videotape, or I want to see this television show. And it wasn't until between my junior and senior year of high school, when I went to leadership camp because I was part of student government, and I met all these interesting people from all over the state of Washington, and I made a vow. I'm like, you know what? Because they were asking me to go places, and I'm like, I can't go on the weekend. The movie opens on Friday that I need to see. I made a vow to myself. I'm like, if you ever get an opportunity to go do something, do it.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter what it is. You just go do it, because nothing will happen to you if you stay home.
It's true.
And when you go out into the world, you never know what's going to happen. And I think, to me, I should have known that from Star Trek.
And
Boldly go.
some people don't learn that until later. Like I spent 17 years waiting, and
waiting for what?
Waiting for my life to begin. Waiting for, I don't know. I just was waiting, and it wasn't until I got out of that initial relationship that now it's like I just.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I mean, you're like
do and try and do everything I can.
Well, there's my favorite advice Dear Abby ever gave. A woman, I'll never forget this. A woman wrote into her, and she said, I remember her as being 42, and she said, I've always wanted to be a doctor. Like, maybe she got out of a bad marriage or something. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but if I go to medical school and do my residency and all that, by the time I'm a doctor, I'm going to be 50.
Yeah.
And she was asking, and Dear Abby's advice was, her answer was, you're going to be 50 anyway.
Which is exactly what my mother says to me all the time. That time's going to pass anyway. Just do it.
Yeah, and we live in a world where, like, Clint Eastwood's making movies at 90. Like, there's no reason.
Right.
I guess in the West, or especially in America, there's this idea that, oh, you get to a certain age and you
reach
have to
65
retire.
And you retire, and then what?
Yeah, there's no time to pursue your dreams and all this. Like, I plan on, look, if I have to be on YouTube talking about movies until I'm dead, if I have an audience, I'll continue to do it. I mean, there have been people that send me like, come on, Rob, aren't you a little old to be talking about action figures on the internet? And I'm like, am I? Really?
Don't bash on the action figures.
Well, I mean, the fact is, I don't apologize for enjoying stuff. And I think this movie, the lesson of this film is that, you know, enjoy what you're doing, enjoy your life.
Just go for it.
And don't lament over what could have happened or should have happened or would have happened. You know, go out there and make it happen.
Just do it.
You know, it's like City Slickers. Go find your smile.
Yeah.
In this case, find your spark or whatever. And a lot of people have a problem doing that.
Well, it's hard because you're bogged down by your idea of perfection. Like this for me, many years, I had a hard time painting large paintings or any kind of paintings. And I would only paint 1 or 2 paintings a year. And they were always very small and very reserved, because I was held back by this idea that they weren't perfect. And then finally I just decided, like, fuck perfection, who cares, and just went for it. And since then, like, I've had this breakthrough.
Yeah, there's no walls left in the house.
I know there's so many paintings now. They're starting to be leaned up against.
But I always
wall.
thought that a painter has you can flip through their canvases that are on the floor. Eventually there's no more wall space, so you put the canvases in. It's like it's like when you went through the stacks.
That's starting to happen.
Or
here.
the crates at Tower Records. How you'd flip. I mean, I have to say I wonder if kids today even have that skill.
To go
like
through
the
records?
skill of flipping through records, because there isn't. They can't do that anymore.
Right.
Kids don't do that. It's like Sophie I gave her that watch for Christmas, and she's like, I can barely tell the time on this. She doesn't.
Oh, right, because it's analog.
It's an analog. It's the watch with hands on it.
Yes.
Like, kids are like, how does this work? I don't know. And I think
she learned in school. She'll get the hang of it.
no, yeah, it's true. But it was funny. She came to me. She goes,
What time is it?
That's what she's like. What time? Yesterday, she came to me in the kitchen. She's like, what time is this? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's a Starship Enterprise. It's the Enterprise on this watch. It really doesn't matter what time it is when you've got a Star Trek swatch, right?
Right.
That's what I say. So, I mean, what did you overall like? I think, like the Toy Story movies and like Finding Nemo, are more.
Which I have to say, Finding Nemo is my favorite.
Right.
Favorite Disney movie.
But they have more. Like what I find interesting is that Pixar with Coco or Inside Out or this.
Yes.
There's much more. They're more philosophical.
They are.
They're not as, I wouldn't say they're not as delicious as a Toy Story movie with all the characters and like Finding Dory and Finding Nemo.
Yeah, they're pretty deep. They're deeper than what they used to make, which was more for children with a lot of fun antics.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, those movies have great lessons.
They do.
But I do like these more philosophical, introspective films that Pixar does.
Yeah.
This is way on the other side of the spectrum from Cars.
Yes.
Or Speedy McQueen or whatever Owen Wilson's character's name is. Lightning McQueen.
It's Lightning.
Lightning McQueen, and you're watching this, and as an adult, like I found this movie to be very compelling.
But I like that they make both kinds.
I do too. No, I look. I love Pixar movies. I think they're great. I like that but I like the fact that they're making these movies and these films are successful. I mean, Inside Out, Coco, this. I think it's great. I mean, it's how many. It's great that they're branching out, and I again, the design. This movie's gorgeous to look at. I love the score.
Yeah, Pixar's pretty amazing. I mean, I love their work.
Me too. I really, really enjoyed this film.
Me too.
And it's not perfect.
No.
It's not, and it is a little weird.
It's a little weird.
It's weird.
It's a
like
little weird.
This film does have a really weird.
I mean, he dies in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's just got a weird bent
strange
to it. But I felt like this wouldn't. If this was from a French animator, I'd been like, oh, like the Triplets of Belleville.
But I have to say, there are many French animators who work at Pixar.
Right.
So, there you go.
No, this was. So, well, we haven't given it we've got other business to attend to. So let me put the glasses on. The first order of business is we have a letter. And let me get this letter and pull this letter up. We have a letter from Gil James Babel, or as we know him, Cardinal Sin. Hey, Laser Rob, yada, 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 Laser Bob. The next time you find yourself stuck without a movie to watch, I would be really grateful if you would show Elysabeth, Gwendolyn, Belle, the ace, the arbiter of cinematic excellence, and the enchantress of entertainment, the seven faces of Dr. Lau.
Oh, man, he's been asking us for almost
6 months, man. I know it just slipped your mind, but it's such a positive movie. It's available to watch on Amazon. And honestly, I've slipped you so much cheddar over time to turn her onto it for whining about movies. Don't you think it's due? Come on, man.
You're right.
All right, I'll tell you what, Gil.
We have to do it.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to watch Tenet.
Yes.
And then we're going to watch on Sunday night, we're going to do The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau with Tony Randall.
Yes, we're going to do it.
It's actually, it's a pretty great movie, and it's been a really long time.
Yeah.
So
okay, we've got to do it.
We'll do it. We're going to watch Seven Faces of Dr. Lau. It's on Amazon. You can find it. We invite all of you to join us in that endeavor. So, Gil, you will get your wish. It's a new year, and for you, buddy, we're going to make sure that you get your wish.
Yep.
So let's see where we are here. People are writing in. Hey, Connie Sang is here. Hello, Connie. Let's see. Where are we? Here we go.
There were some sent that are meant for your tomorrow show. Observation.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, Andrew, I think.
Yeah, Andrew was.
He wants you to save them for tomorrow.
I will save those for tomorrow. Although Sister Harrow sent us a super chat, I'll save Andrew's. I will say Glenn Taylor. We can talk about Wonder Woman because we reviewed it.
Yeah.
So Glenn says, Rob, I never felt like Wonder Woman 84 was part of the DCEU. It honestly felt to me like it was part of the greatest American hero universe. Campy. Well, I don't think you're wrong about that.
Yeah, it was campy.
It was campy. It was crazy. Timbula the Spider Monkey says, I'm not here. I'm currently sitting in a vet's office while one of my cats has a checkup following up on a procedure last week. Anyway, I really liked Soul, but not as much as some of my favorite Pixar films. The music was great, though. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is top-tier Pixar.
Yeah.
But I did really like the movie.
I liked it, too.
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Raymond Verata sends in a tip and says, I look forward to future Mandalorian Boba Fett team-ups. I liken it to old Justice League, Justice Society, Crisis crossovers. Well, anyone who has known me for any length of time knows that when I was a little kid, I lived for the time once a year when the JLA and the JSA would team up. And boy, did I love that. I watched Soul right after Wonder Woman. Really enjoyed it, especially the score. Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. That was Andrew. I skipped. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, but that was meant for this show.
Yeah. Hang on, but I skipped. I read half of Raymond Verata's.
Oh.
Raymond Verata goes on to say, let me do this again. I look forward to future Mandalorian Boba Fett team-ups. I liken it to old Justice League, Justice Society, Crisis crossovers, the granddaddy of fan service team-ups, Superman Shazam, Snake Eyes Storm Shadow, to name others. More of the same, but different. I agree, Raymond. Andrew Christie says, hey again, guys. I sent my other questions before Rob's show was postponed today. By the way, it was postponed because we were getting our COVID tests and we had to wait. We thought it was the drive-through. We had to wait an hour.
We had an appointment, but somehow Zoe didn't end up on the list. So it took them, they said 10 minutes, but it took them like 30 minutes to get her on the list.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Meant for that anyway. I watched Soul right after Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed it, especially the score. Yes, Andrew, I thought it was great. And Connie from the Experiential Engagement Division.
Hello.
Hello. Absolutely love this movie. Totally ugly cried. I can't help but tell everyone. But I loved that the trombone player is named Connie because I played the trombone in high school and was the section leader. Happy New Year's, guys. Wow, Connie.
Well, maybe you were the inspiration.
You were the inspiration for this character, perhaps. I love that you were the section leader.
That is so cool.
That means you were first chair? Were you first chair, Connie? I gotta tell you, I mean, there's something sexy about a girl playing the trombone.
Right.
And I don't mean that in any kind of lascivious... Connie, I mean that sincerely. I'm not gonna make, some joke about blowing on your bone. I'm not gonna say that. That's what they call a trombone. I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to go there. Oh, well, okay. Sorry about that. Cardinal Sin is here. Rob, please show Elysabeth, Gwendolyn, Belle, The Seven Faces of Dr. Lao. It's a positive, life-affirming movie. I know she'll love it, and it's available on Amazon. Many thanks. Well, Cardinal Sin, Sunday night, buddy, you get your wish. We're going to bring in the new year right with you.
Yeah, clear your calendar.
Clear your calendar. Andrew Christie goes on to say, animation was next level. New York was photoreal, but with its classic Pixar character style, it was so cool. I agree.
Yeah, it was.
Reznor and Ross's score for The Great Beyond was great. Shout out to John Batiste for the jazz, which was equally great. John Batiste, isn't he? He runs the band on. Is it Kimmel? Jimmy Kimmel's band?
Oh, is it that guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe so. Right.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the jazz was great. Shook Nasty became a member of the channel.
Yay.
By the way, Shook Nasty, what a cool name.
Shook Nasty.
Man, if I was named, I would change my name if my alter ego online was Shook Nasty. I would just have people call me that in real life. Well, Shook Nasty, thank you for becoming part of the channel. We are proud and honored to have Shook Nasty as a member
Yep.
of the. And by the way, when I'm so behind on stuff, but I am going to drop my drunk Moonraker review
You really need
for
to.
the members. I got some other things for members to see that is going to like. Connie Sang goes on to say there's a lot of a slam magazine in the barbershop, and it was inspired by a real slam magazine cover that a friend of mine shot for. Was an awesome personal Easter egg for him. Well, that's really great. I mean,
That is so cool.
I mean, when I was growing up, when I was a kid,
She has all kinds of connections to this movie.
I'm telling you, I had a barbershop that I went to. Leonard was my barber.
Leonard.
And Leonard was my barber. And my mom, I had the bowl, the Dorothy Hamill, and that's how we'd cut my hair. But the great thing about barbershops is not just the smell of all the hair products, but there was always stacks of magazines. Some were like ancient. Like you could find, oh my God, look, it's a GQ from 25 years ago. Like they never got thrown away. And they had that finger oil, and they'd been paged through so many times that the paper had altered and it all crinkled. I love that when I was a kid. I thought that was so great. I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't be opening this because these adult men have been looking at this. But there wasn't like porno mags. I'm sure there were, but I just don't know what it wasn't. It was real article magazines.
Yeah.
You can't read a porno mag with your barber.
It
wasn't like that.
That wouldn't be in your barbershop.
No, it wasn't like that because you'd want to, like, I remember Leonard was kind of this. He had this great face, and I just liked to hang out there. Like I felt as my mom. I was going there from like when I was 6 and 7 and 8. I just liked hanging out there. I felt like the barbershop, there was wisdom to be found. That's why I can't wait to see Coming to America too, because they go back to the barbershop. It's gonna be great. A spectator sends in a tip and says, Liz, we've been having a nice discussion about alien species and whether you would or not. Okay. I have to preface this by saying on my show Observations, we've been having a lot of conversation over the months about whether or not anybody would engage in carnal activity with an extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
And using Spock's mother, Amanda, and her husband, Sarek, who is a Vulcan.
Right.
So you have an interspecies romance. And I'm like, how far would you go? In the movie Aliens, they talk about, well, it doesn't matter if it's Octurian, baby. Like, male, female, it doesn't matter. So I would say that, okay, like, maybe like the blue diva from The Fifth Element, like, I could totally get busy with her. But could you actually sleep with a xenomorph from Alien? Or could you sleep with a predator? A predator's intelligent, and could you bed down with a spectator's saying, whether you would or would not have sexual relations with one. Rob seems to have reservations about doing it with a predator, alien. Would you like to chime in on the discussion and share your thoughts?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think? Would you sleep with E.T.?
Not E.T.
He's got that finger, though.
No, not E.T. Not E.T.
All right.
I think, well, yeah, he'd have to be at least a humanoid. I mean, I wouldn't care what.
What if it was like a humanoid, like an Andorian, light blue skin with antenna, white hair?
Yeah, I could go there.
You could go there. Okay.
I could go there.
But could you go with, like, what about an alien xenomorph?
No.
Where do you think the line gets drawn?
When they look scary and they have like claws and long arms and tentacles and that kind of stuff.
No hentai for you.
In the mouths, no, I couldn't.
And the mouths.
Mouths.
But there is a line. Like you could push it. I think it's like anything. You have to be attracted.
If they look like a bug, a giant bug, no, thank you. No.
But if it was like a handsome humanoid.
Yeah, a humanoid, yes.
What about like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy? He's a strapping man. He's got his.
Yeah, I could go for Drax.
You could go for Drax. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So, yeah. but he's a very handsome, well-built guy. Right. Ultimately, But pushing the extraterrestrial nature of it all. Well, on this show, you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. Uh-oh, someone's going to draw a picture of you and Drax.
Do it.
Tom Jr. Jackson sends in a tip and says, Ace and Rob, not only is Soul a great film, but powerful and has a great message. It's a very special film. As someone who loves to play the piano, I dug this movie. I dug the themes of acceptance, mentorship, and that life is short. Pixar has done it again. I would agree. I think all those messages are in the movie.
Yeah, they are.
And they definitely, they come through. I agree, Tom.
Somebody mentioned a Klingon. Yeah, I could totally go for a Klingon.
Yeah, of course. I could too.
Totally.
Kalar.
Worf.
I could go for B'Etor. Lursa didn't do it for me, but B'Etor. Yes, indeed. Kaz Graphics, our own cheesemonger. Kaz Graphics is here. Also, Kaz Graphics sent me glasses from his company, VN Graphics, which still has Diet Coke in it.
Yeah, ew, that's flat.
No, it's from today.
Gross.
It's not flat. Come on, no. Kaz Graphics' glasses make all liquid better.
What's in that glass?
Beer. That's old. See, no, don't out me like that.
Well, I saw a golden liquid. I didn't know if it was whiskey or what.
No, I don't have any whiskey in here.
I was like, what?
I need to get.
Are you hoarding whiskey?
No, but I need to get whiskey in here for Thursday.
For New Year's Eve.
We are New Year's Eve. This channel beginning at 8:00 Pacific time. We are going to have, instead of a New Year's Rockin' Eve, we're going to have an Elysabeth's Robservations Zoom party. Jump on in and out. I'll have the link available. We'll be playing music and talking and hanging out and drinking together.
Yep.
So you are invited, as Alex said in the Clockwork Orange. Her angel trumpets and devil trombones. So Kaz Graphics says, on Christmas I watched Wonder Woman 84 and was grinding my teeth the entire time. Then I watched Soul. It was rewarding. I thought so. I am right there with you, Kaz.
It would be good to watch them in that order.
Yeah, it would be. I look, I'll watch any movie about jazz.
Yeah.
And Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which I thought was one of the best movies I've seen this year.
It was very good.
Based on the August Wilson play. Jason S. Sends Tenet to wait. I've seen your review of Tenet.
Where
he inverted. That? He inverted. Jason S. inverted his comment. I've seen your review of Tenet.
Oh my god!
So you know what we thought about it.
That is brilliant.
Jason S. That was pretty funny. I like that a lot.
I can read that. I'm left-handed. I'm backwards.
I love it. Cardinal Sin says Elysabeth, Gwendolyn, Belle looks stunning this evening.
Oh.
Rob, you are too.
Well, thank
you. Thank you. My beautiful locks. She wants me to grow and grow and grow my hair.
I love it.
She loves the hair. I haven't had long hair in 25 years, so I'm just gonna let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. Ray Valero sends in a super chat and says, "Great show. Looking forward to Tenet review next." I'm just happy we're able to do it because I thought the future was going to prevent us from reviewing Tenet.
Yeah, but
I don't know if the present's going to be happy with our review.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll just
You'll have to see. Maybe we'll have to invert our review. I don't know. Andrew Christie's back and says it's definitely got a weird bent to it. It's almost like a philosophical art house movie that was molded into a family animation, which is awesome. I mean, I think that's what makes it great. Plus, Jamie Foxx has, in real life, he has a recording studio in his house, and he's a big music aficionado. I'm sure that was one of the, when they told him what it was about, you get to play a jazz musician, he's probably like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, I think somebody you could do an incredible, I'd love to see like a full-length animated film about jazz.
Well, this kind of was about jazz.
But there wasn't enough, of just music. The music,
right.
Coltrane or
there is
Miles
a documentary
Davis
on Disney that I watched before we ever watched this film about how the creator of this story went about creating this.
Oh. That I did not know that.
Yeah.
How did you watch that without me?
Well, it's a whole series. It's like the Pixar. It was a Pixar
documentary series.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I worked on a lot of earlier in my, back in the early aughts. I worked on some Pixar special features.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So at Curdy Pellerin, we did all the Pixar movies.
Wow.
So it was amazing to.
That is really cool.
Yeah. To Xenomorph says, I can assure you that 2 mouths are better than 1. I don't doubt that.
Ooh, that would be really scary.
2 mouths are better than 1. I mean, think about that. That second set of jaws could really get up in there. Could really, do some
that'd
work.
Be so frightening.
Can you imagine pushing that little button and at the same time going deep? Oh, well,
No.
Suddenly this got real weird.
Yeah, really weird. Let's not go there.
Roger Haynes sent in a super chat and says, I was watching Cobra Kai with my dad this evening, and I gotta say, master-apprentice surrogate-parent relationships work quite well in storytelling. I agree.
Yes.
Now, were you a Karate Kid fan?
I was.
We should go back and
wax on, wax off.
Yes, but we should watch like the three Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
And then go, because they go to Asia in the series in Cobra Kai.
I don't remember the other two, but the first one I was a real fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that they brought back the original cast, it's amazing. Yeah. And I've only seen the first season. I haven't seen the rest of it. So.
There's a show.
There's 3 seasons of Cobra Kai.
Oh.
Yeah, now that it's on.
Oh, that's the Karate Kid show.
Yes, with the actors coming back 30 years later.
Oh, that's mind-blowing.
35 years later, yeah.
How come we haven't watched that?
Well, now it's on Netflix. You can see it. When it first started, it was behind a paywall on YouTube. That's where I first saw it. Yeah.
So you've watched it?
The first season.
Without me?
Well, because you know what? I was watching it on my computer. And I was watching it when we were up.
You do that a lot.
You
watched the second episode of The Stand without me.
It's better that you didn't watch it.
No, I want to see it.
Okay, well, I'll watch it again.
Rude.
Cardinal Sin says, R&B, what did you think of Whiplash? Oh, Whiplash is great.
Yes.
My time, I loved Whiplash. It was great. I mean, Whiplash was... While it was about playing music, it wasn't really about jazz. I mean, it had a lot of great music in it. Drumming and...
That was a really good movie.
I loved Whiplash.
Yeah.
Loved it. I loved it. And it was terrific. But if you guys haven't seen the movie Round Midnight, that is a great movie about jazz. And La La Land, too.
La La Land is about jazz. Come on, man.
But I loved
Seb's Bar.
Seb's Bar, yeah, it would be great. Mavlor. If you spend so much time looking for your purpose, you forget to live, and the purpose of life is to live. I agree with that. Everyone thinks that what is my purpose here? That's the question. Is this all I am, like in Star Trek: The Motion Picture? Is there nothing more? And I think that's because people keep waiting for this big thing
to happen,
like some big transformative event. And that's not the way the world works.
It's not.
You got to love that's why I love editing movies. Like I love Tango Shalom, people are going to say oh, you spent so much time on that. But it doesn't matter what I'm editing. I really love...
Great movie. I love that movie.
Well, I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more in the coming weeks. Because if you have a Jewish film festival near you in the next 6 months... I can't say where, but if you're in the Illinois area or in the Florida area or North Carolina, maybe there's places where you could... If you just do a little research and you want to see what I've spent the last 4 years of my life making that I can't actually talk about...
Why can't you talk about it?
San Diego. I mean, anywhere that they've got a Jewish film festival, hey.
It's probably going to be there.
Maybe. I'm not saying. Who knows? Tango Shalom. What better way than putting it at Jewish film festivals?
When's the trailer going to come out?
Hopefully in a week.
Good.
We shall see. Well, listen, we are over time. Let's see. Hang on.
I think you have a few more super chats.
No. I don't. I think we haven't done Alberto Bonsanto. After watching Wonder Woman 84, Warner Brothers really needs Zack Snyder back. I have to say, I love Patty Jenkins. I love Monster. But people forget that it was Michelle McLaren who developed Wonder Woman, scheduled it, planned the whole thing, and Patty Jenkins was not involved in the writing, and she left over creative differences because she wanted it to be more of a Braveheart film. And even though she had directed episodes of television and even Game of Thrones, Warner Brothers, the executives balked and didn't think she could pull it off.
What
And
assholes.
so she left Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, very late in the process.
Well, there you go.
And
That
Patty
explains
Jenkins,
it all.
yes, Patty Jenkins, and I was reminded of this by my industry friend who shall remain nameless, a very heavy hitter in the industry that I've been talking with. He's kind of become my guru. I ask him questions about industry things that go on, and he pointed this out to me because
But that makes a lot of sense.
it makes a lot of sense. He said he hated Wonder Woman 84, and he wanted to love it, and he reminded me, and
We all wanted to love it.
he sent me an article from Variety back when Michelle McLaren was dismissed, and said, look, she developed this movie and took it all the way down the field, and then Patty Jenkins came in and did a good job with it, but she didn't develop the story.
Nope.
And
Well, there you go.
so, but I'm not saying I don't want to cast aspersions on her, but actually the movie does enough. The movie speaks for itself.
It does. It does. It does speak for itself.
Yeah, it wasn't a big fan.
It was a totally different voice.
It really was. It felt, and Zack Snyder was a producer on both movies, but I really do think that Wonder Woman needed the one thing that Zack Snyder brings. Like, I am not a Zack Snyder hater. I did not love Watchmen. One of my favorite things in the world is the Watchmen comic, but that Dawn of the Dead is one of my favorite things in the world, the original,
Yes.
and I was so vehemently opposed to anybody remaking it. And I walked into that movie, I had already made up my mind. I'm like, fuck Zack Snyder. Fuck the fact that he remade one of my favorite, not just my favorite horror
Have I
movies.
seen the remake?
Yeah, you've probably seen the remake, but you haven't seen the original.
I don't think I've seen either one.
Well, we can compare and contrast. I liked it. After I was sitting, I've never been won over in a movie theater more than I was won over by the first 10 minutes of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I was like, when I went in, I was like, fuck this movie. But I had to see it. James Gunn did write it, so I'm like, and I was like, this is pretty good. I mean, I didn't love it like I love the original Dawn of the Dead, but it was, as a remake, very respectable. Now,
You did show me Shaun of the Dead.
I showed you Shaun of the Dead.
That was good.
It's very good.
I liked it.
Yes, that's very good. That's a movie we could do for whining
We
about
totally
movies.
should.
But we have to do the original Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
Because there it is, the monolith right there on the wall. One of
I
the
don't think
greatest.
they can see it.
Well, here, I'll switch the camera angle, and they know. I mean, anybody who's watched this
I
show.
still don't think they could see it if you switch the camera.
Well, you can. It's right. Yeah, there it is. It's right in the corner.
Purple in the corner.
That's it.
That's it right there.
It's the monolith. It's the greatest single bit of physical media that came out. I mean, I see all these guys doing, here's my best of 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's only one best of 2020. There's the best of 2020, the best thing that came out. There's been a lot of great stuff. Lord of the Rings, a lot of controversy over the transfers. But the best piece of physical media that came out this year, bar none, is Second Sight's Dawn of the Dead. Don't argue with me. Don't sit there and go, well, Rob, there's a lot of great stuff that came out. Like, I know, this Friday the 13th box set, pretty dope. Columbia Classics with the 4K
What's in there?
Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, it's dope.
Can we bring that into the bedroom?
It meant no. We can bring individual movies out.
Oh, come on, dude. I want to see what's in that set.
Well, if Jerry Maguire, we watched Jerry Maguire.
But what else is in there?
A League of Their Own, Gandhi, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, all brand new 4K transfers. It's beautiful. But I could bring it, you do know people, so it's not that it doesn't have to migrate very far.
It's true.
But anyway, Dawn of the Dead. What was I saying? Connie sends in another tip and says, this is for the trombone jokes. See? See? I bet when Connie was in high school, she was popular. She was first chair. She was head of her section, after all.
God.
I'm a big fan of Connie's. She's always done right by me. Right by us.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's, She's not the head of the experiential engagement division of her company for nothing. I mean,
I have to say, I love the sound bar.
well, yeah. It's pretty dope.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. If you guys want to get a sound bar for your sound system, JBL's Dolby Atmos soundbar with the removable satellite speakers is quite kicking.
Yeah,
it is
what
quite.
I love about it is sleek, so it doesn't take up tons of room with speakers all over the room, and you have the removable speakers that you can place next to you.
And the subwoofer, the subwoofer's got some.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Ooh, baby, baby. It's good. Yes. And Tenet sounded good on it, and Tenet's only 5.1. No, hey, save it. Save it. Save it for the... Save it.
Oh, the sound on Tenet.
Well, the music sounds great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can't hear any freaking dialogue. But that's for another night.
Scarpad's Comic Trex sends in a super chat and says, I never saw the Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead off the new set, and I loved it. Well, here, can you see behind that? I don't know if you behind that thing there. Can you hold the chrome? See that chrome box? The big chrome box there. It says special selection. Yeah, that big box right there. See that says.
This is a book.
No, the one, not that behind
Star
it.
Trek.
No, not that. The other thing.
This?
Yep.
Zombies?
Yes, that's it. That's it. So, I had never seen the Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead either until I bought this. And I want to say I bought this at Ken Crane's. This is the Japanese laser disc of the... It has the can cut, the long cut of Dawn of the Dead, and it has Argento's cut of Dawn of the Dead. And that was the first time I saw it. Now, for those of you who are wondering, Rob, what are you talking about? There are 3 cuts of Dawn of the Dead. There's the theatrical version, which I still prefer. There is the can cut that is a longer version of Dawn of the Dead, but Romero still worked on it. And then there's the Argento cut, or the European cut of Dawn of the Dead, that's a little shorter, and it has more of Goblin's, the Italian band Goblin's original music for Dawn of the Dead that was supervised by producer Dario Argento, who directed Suspiria and obviously the Three Mothers trilogy and the Three Animals trilogy and all of that. Once Upon a Time in the West, I believe he wrote that. It's his version of, as a producer, he did a European cut that is a little different. It's got more violence in it, but it's shorter, a lot of different takes. The first time I saw it was this Laserdisc, and I can't give this up, even though it's completely useless and I'll probably never ever watch it again. As a totem, as an artifact, I probably will be buried with this. I also have my George Romero autograph in it. So I love this. But that was the first time I saw the Argento cut. I'm glad you liked it. It's interesting. I don't think it's as good, though. Anyway, we're rambling.
You're rambling.
I'm rambling. The show's... We're rambling. I keep thinking about making jokes about Connie playing the trombone. I mean, she even... she tipped us for that.
I mean, if she likes jokes.
As long as somebody doesn't come after me going, you're canceled. You made offensive trombone.
Somebody's always going to cancel you. So.
I know. I say something that's going to get canceled. I'll get canceled on a daily basis, which I don't understand because collectively, if you look into my background, it's pretty apparent what I'm all about.
Yeah. Well, you know. What are you going to do?
Blowing that trombone. That's what you're going to do. Wah, wah, wah. So anyway, so Elysabeth, we come to that time.
Yeah.
Our bottoms up scale. What is our bottoms up scale?
Our bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 glasses because there are 4 glasses of wine in a bottle.
4 glasses of wine in a bottle.
Yep.
And on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what do you give Soul? Pete Docter's Soul.
I am going to give Soul 3.5 glasses.
I will too. I will give Soul 3.5 glasses. It's not. I can't give it 4.
Right.
You know, I give it 3.5 glasses. It's not 4-star Pixar, but I really like this movie. I found it affecting.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. And let me put these glasses on. Randy Pena says, Rob, did you watch the fan trailers I sent you on Twitter? I have not watched them yet. Of Matrix and Superman. I'm a massive Matrix fan and waited 18 years for this movie.
Wow.
Are you talking about The Matrix 4? No, I will watch those. Randy had contacted me about... I love fan trailers. I love like the modern trailers of Star Trek The Motion Picture and Star Trek 2. So I love seeing fan-made trailers, especially nowadays with the editing software and the music that people use. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. So I will watch it. Swack Props says there's a Korean horror thriller titled The Call that dropped last week on Netflix. It has a time travel aspect to it that I found intriguing and less migraine-y compared to Tenet. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend that you do. Ooh, I like that.
Well, you know how I feel about time travel.
You love time travel.
I love it.
And I love Korean movies, so
yeah,
I'll watch that.
Train to Busan. Come on, man.
Well, Memories of Murder and The Handmaiden. That was dope. What a great movie.
That was actually a pretty good movie.
And Lust, Caution. So good. I can't wait to get my Tony Leung action figure. Who knows when that'll show up? Sometime.
Can I have it?
No.
Come on, man.
No.
Please. I only own 3 figures.
Look.
Okay, one was a hand-me-down.
Why do you say it's a hand-me-down? I gave you...
Because you upgraded, because now he's holding a pitcher and some wine, a wine glass. And then my second one I got for Christmas.
Yeah, but that was you got the Wesley, the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
This is
He's
a premium.
all my own. He wasn't a hand-me-down. And the third one I made myself.
Well, would you like to see, Sideshow Collectibles is the North American distributor, and you're welcome to put in pre-orders whenever you want.
Yeah, but I like when you buy me figures.
Yes, I'm sure you do. I think, but see, the problem is whenever I buy you figures, that's one less figure I don't buy for myself.
But you have so many, and they're all in boxes.
But you can
# free the toys.
You can get more. I mean, there's always more to get.
There's a ton in here. Why can't I just pick what I want?
By the way, I've pre-ordered a Freddie Mercury and a Jimi Hendrix to go with John Lennon back here.
That's cool.
I'm going to create my band, the ultimate band. Now somebody's got to do a print. I can't decide though. Should I get the Freddie Mercury with the leather jacket or just the one with the Live Aid tank top? I think I'm going to go for the yellow jacket because it's a figure. And the Jimi Hendrix one comes with it's awesome. The Jimi Hendrix one is awesome. So, there you go.
There you go.
Nick Markin says, "What did you think of the movie Hollywoodland?" Now, Hollywoodland is that Ben Affleck playing George Reeves? That Hollywoodland? Is that what I'm thinking of? I'm not sure if I'm getting the right movie.
Have I seen that?
I don't think you've seen that. But that might be what you're talking about. Hang on. Allow me to check and see if that's what you are referring to. You know what? This is not what I was thinking of. If it's this one, I have not seen it. Oh no, it is. Yeah, it is. I liked Hollywoodland. I thought it was weird that they couldn't use Superman iconography. I thought that was odd. But I liked Hollywoodland.
I don't know if I've seen it.
I don't think you've seen it, but it's got a great cast, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. And Alan Coulter, who directed it, is a big TV director. So, but yeah, it was weird that because they couldn't get the rights to use the they couldn't. He's playing the actor who played Superman. He's playing George Reeves, but he couldn't wear the Superman.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
How do you talk about that without?
Well, they do, but it was a little odd. But I liked the movie. I mean, I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was interesting that they did that in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a noir story about that character, those people, and that time. So yeah, I liked it.
That's cool.
I mean, I went. You think that okay, it's about one of the characters in the film played Superman in The Adventures of Superman, which I grew up watching, and I loved that show.
Yeah.
And as a kid, but I liked it. I'm a sucker for movies about Hollywood. So, yeah, I was thinking, did you mean the John Holmes movie about the John Holmes murder? John Holmes, Johnny Wad, was a porn star from the 70s.
Oh.
I didn't realize.
He was murdered?
No, but there was a murder story about, I think he died of AIDS, I think. I don't remember. Anyway, again, rambling.
Yeah.
We've already given it. It's time for us to tap out. We're supposed to be done.
Yep.
Anyway, I want to thank all of our moderating staff. I want to thank Joshua Levesque. I want to thank Mr. Derringer. I want to thank The Richard. And I want to remind everybody that there's always something going on at the Post-Geek Singularity Facebook page. There's a WINEning About Movies Facebook page. Now there is a fully articulated Facebook page where people are sharing their action figure stories and collections and all of that. And tomorrow, the second episode of Fully Articulated is live at noon with Justin from Justin's Collection on YouTube, who has one of the most greatest collection of hot toys ever that I salivate over. And of course, Az from Heel vs. Babyface. And we're going to have our third... Look, man, if I knew that so many people would watch us talk about hot toys and action figures, I would have done it a long time ago.
Well, we talked about doing a hot toys.
I know, we're still doing Free the Toys. We're still going to do that.
We are?
Still doing Free the Toys. Don't think
I
we're
thought
not.
it was replaced.
You're not. No, this is just a. No. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. I don't know if I finished. I think I got everybody that's here. I'm not sure in terms of my moderators. I want to thank you all, but go to the Facebook pages and go bother everybody. Tell them I sent you. So thanks for that. And
Justin Toner's here.
Justin Toner's here too. Hello, Justin. I think maybe that's not everybody.
That's it.
I think that's it. Well, thank you guys. We have the greatest moderating staff on YouTube, and I thank them for all the work they do. When I say work, the volunteer work they do. One day I'm going to put them all on a paying basis.
That would be awesome.
That would be that is the plan for 2021. Wow, we've got just a few days left because we had such a great year, didn't we?
We did.
Fantastic 2020.
We did.
I'll look back on this year and think, wow, what a great year this was. And on that note,
everyone you meet. We don't know if we have COVID.
Yeah, we don't know. We've been tested again. Again, we have to wait and see.
Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do
is listen. And
have a better night.
Have a butter knife, as BL Alley would say. And hopefully we'll see you on New Year's Eve. Bring booze, dress to impress.
Yeah, Zoom party.
Or you don't have to. Just put a hat on. Or something. But we'll be having fun. And on Friday night, we're doing Tenet. And apparently on Sunday, we're doing The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau.
Yep.
Starring Tony Randall. So Gil will finally be able to achieve his dream.
He really wants me to see it.
He wants you to see it. So that is a good thing. So thanks very much, everybody. And thanks for the support. If you want to send us letters, please go to the website.
Oh, it's Justin's birthday.
It's Justin's birthday.
That's what it says.
Justin, meaning of Justin's channel?
Justin Toner.
Oh, Justin Toner's birthday.
I'm assuming.
Well.
Yes, Justin Toner's. We see it, Richard.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Justin. Happy birthday to you and many more. So, happy birthday.
Let's cheers.
Yeah, let's cheers to Justin.
Happy birthday.
All right. But join us. There we go. Like the Evil Dead said, join us. And on that note, we're going to go end this call, end this show, end this stream. Elysabeth's episode 107. Pete Docter's Soul. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Good night.